So I just got done watching Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, and I have a lot of thoughts on the movie. We're going to start off with no spoilers and then eventually get into spoilers. Alright, with that all out of the way.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
Before I start this review, if you can't tell, I am still recovering from, you know what, I don't think I'm allowed to say it, but you know, the virus. I'm still recovering from it. I'm still not 100%, and my voice is still not at 100%. But I really wanted to do the review for this movie while the movie's still fresh in my mind because I just got done seeing it, and I am not rewatching this movie again because, as you can't tell from the thumbnail, I did not like this movie. Like, I didn't find it to be good, and it wasn't horrible, but it's not good, in my opinion. And it sucks too, because I really wanted to like this movie. I heard people were trashing on the movie before it even came out. I wasn't looking at any of the reasons why. I think leaks of the movie came out. I did a really good job of avoiding it. Really didn't watch the trailers too much either. I mean, I watched the trailers, but once I saw there was spoilers and stuff in it, I tried to avoid the trailers as much as possible. So I really tried to go into this movie completely blind, and I really wanted to like it. I wanted to like the movie because I like Lucasfilm right now. I know that's a controversial thing to say. I like Star Wars. I like the current what Lucasfilm has done with Star Wars, and I like other things that Lucasfilm has done. So I really wanted to go into this movie liking Indiana Jones because of Lucasfilm, and I'm an Indiana Jones fan. I like the first three movies a lot. I think the first three movies are pretty good. I really dislike Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I could go on a 2-hour rant about that movie because I am not a fan of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's another one of those movies where there is getting praised and people are like, oh, it's not that bad. And it's like getting praised over the past 10 years as a movie where it's like it's an underrated movie and it got overhated and whatnot. I really do not like that movie, and I could go on a 2-hour rant, and like, not 2-hour rant, but I could go on a long rant on the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And then we have this movie where I think it's better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but it's nowhere close to being as good as the first three movies. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is like really, really bad. This is not good. So it's one step below that. And another reason why I wanted to like this movie too is because of Harrison Ford and James Mangold. I really like James Mangold. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. I think he's one of the best directors in all of like filmmaking right now. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's his fault. It's probably not really his fault too much. I mean, the directing wasn't bad or anything. It was more the writing that I had a problem with. It. Story decisions, and he was behind the story. So I guess he is to blame a little bit for Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny not being good. But yeah, James Mangold, I have a lot of respect for, still do. I still think he's one of the best directors of all time and one of the best directors in filmmaking right now. But at the end of the day, he didn't make a good film, and he's made a couple not good films. Most of his films are either good or amazing, like just look at Ford versus Ferrari or Logan. But at the end of the day, he did not make a good film. It happens. Not every director is have an amazing film every single time. Great directors make bad films sometimes. It happens. I think it's very rare for a great director to have a perfect track record. I mean, just look at Steven Spielberg or George Lucas. I mean, George Lucas is definitely one for people to look at. Or Martin Scorsese, Tim Burton, and the list goes on. I think the only directors to have not made a bad film yet is Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino. There might be more, but in my opinion, and from the top of my head, those are the two directors I can think of that have not made a bad film yet. At worst, I think they made a boring film, but all of that is very subjective and very much just my opinion. But yeah, I just wanted to say I really wanted to like this movie. Unfortunately, I did not. So without giving any spoilers, I'll just talk about the stuff I like. I like the first 20 minutes. And then after those 20 minutes or so, the movie really begins. And then the problems really start to begin. Also, obviously, I like Indy. I like Harrison Ford's performance in this movie. John Williams, as always, does an excellent score for the movie. John Williams is the GOAT, and it's unfortunate that he is retiring after this movie, but he has had a long and great career. He did a great job with this movie, no matter how I feel about Indy 5. I do have to say, the score is amazing. There's other good moments in the movie too. Like I said, it's not terrible. There's like nice moments and good moments. Other than that, though, I have so many problems with this movie. So after like the first 20 minutes or so, I would say the movie really begins, and that's when the problems really begin. Just the decisions that they made with the characters. I don't have a problem with his goddaughter in the movie and the Teddy character. I don't want to give much spoilers into it, but there's a character named Teddy. I don't have a problem with him either, but I don't really care for them as well. So every time they showed those two characters in the movie, I just really didn't care, and I just wanted the movie to move on from them. This movie tries to make you care about them. I just didn't really give a damn, and I just wanted to see Indiana Jones. Not saying that's all I wanted to see from the movie, but they didn't do a good job of having me care for them. Like, they didn't do a good job of having the audience invest into their characters, invest into the new characters in this movie. So after the beginning part, we get into the middle, and the middle is just really boring, to be honest with you. I was looking at my phone. I was like, is this movie going to end? It's just, they had pacing issues, and it was just boring. And it's unfortunate that Indiana Jones was boring. And I think another problem why this movie is just kind of lifeless and boring. I don't want to say it's lifeless, but there's just too much CGI, and I don't like that for Indiana Jones. Just like I don't like it for Star Wars. It doesn't work for Indiana Jones. I thought Lucasfilm actually listened to the fans about like too much CGI going on in Star Wars and Indiana Jones, but they didn't listen for Indiana Jones. They listened for Star Wars because I think they've done a lovely job of not overusing CGI, trying to use practical effects. And I really do appreciate Lucasfilm for what they did with Star Wars on that aspect. But they didn't do that for Indiana Jones. And I think that's more important for Indiana Jones to have than Star Wars to have. So why was this movie filled with so much lifeless CGI? Like, you thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was bad. This is so much worse with the CGI. Like, it's laughably bad, and I want to see real stuff with Indiana Jones. Stop with the CGI with Indiana Jones. Stop with it with Star Wars. I'm not saying never use CGI, don't use any of it, but I want to see more real and practical effects than CGI. If you can't do that, don't make Indiana Jones. That's just my opinion, though. I know a lot of people don't care about CGI. I care about CGI when it comes to Indiana Jones and Star Wars. If you use too much of it, it just kills the magic, and it killed the magic for this movie. And then you get to the final act, and the final act is incredibly stupid in my opinion. I thought it was just stupid. I thought the ending was just dumb and stupid. I didn't care. I did not like this movie. I'm going to leave it at that because it's hard to explain why I don't like certain aspects to this movie, or why I thought certain aspects to this movie was stupid, especially in that ending. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this movie with a 40%. I just think it's not good, and it's a shame because I really wanted to like it. Alright, let's go into the spoiler section. Spoiler warning, you have been warned. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's get on to the spoilers. Alright, where to even begin? Let's just talk about the time travel aspect to this movie. I think that's just stupid. I'm not a fan of time travel being in Indiana Jones. I don't know which is worse, aliens or time travel. It's just both really dumb, and both just, I don't think, belongs in Indiana Jones. That's just my opinion. But time travel, like, really? Really? Time travel in Indiana Jones? Like, you couldn't think of anything else? You could just have, like, a normal story, like, why time travel? And yo, that ending, it was so stupid with the freaking Romans. Like, Indiana Jones and Romans, like, who thought that was a good idea? Why is there time travel in Indiana Jones? I couldn't stand that aspect of the movie. I really thought the whole thing was going to be like, oh, well, the time travel thing is not going to be real, and it's some sort of fake artifact or something like that. No, they actually time travel in a Indiana Jones movie with Romans. Like, it's so stupid. I want to move on from it, but it was so stupid. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, what am I watching? Why is Indiana Jones interacting with Romans? And is he really about to die in, like, around the Roman time and whatnot? Like, what movie am I watching? Is this even Indiana Jones, or am I watching Back to the Future? Like, not Back to the Future, but you know what I mean. Like, it's Indiana Jones and time travel should not go together, or at least the way they did it should not go together. And if they did decide to do time travel, they should have made it more interesting, like maybe have Indy make a decision about something with like saving his son, because oh, if, by the way, they killed off Shia LaBeouf's character, his son. I don't even remember his name. He was annoying. I don't think they should have killed off his son though, and I don't think they should have made Indy so depressing. That's just my opinion though. I'm okay with making characters broken and whatnot and having him rebuild by the end of the movie. I just don't think that really works for Indiana Jones that well. I don't know, just a lot of decisions that were made in this film just I don't think fits with Indiana Jones, or at least the way they did it doesn't fit with Indiana Jones, like the way it was executed. Also, that's another thing too. I would think Indiana Jones would be more invested in like getting the Dial of Destiny, but it's like for most of the movie, it's like he doesn't even care, and it's like I don't say it's not like he doesn't even want to be there, but it's like what's his motivation? It's like he's lacking motivation in this movie, and I think that's another problem with Indiana Jones in this movie. It's just he's lacking motivation. It's like I would think something like this would be something he would be looking for like such a long time. It's like his number one thing that he wants to get. It's like his number one artifact or whatnot. It's not like that in this movie. It's just like kind of like I don't really care. I'm about to retire. And he's just a grumpy old man. It's just the whole thing doesn't feel right to me, and it just everything feels off. The more I think about this movie, I think the more I'm disliking it. It's just the decisions that this movie made, and just the story, the fact that I don't really care about any of the characters besides Indiana Jones, and the way there was like so much lifeless CGI, overuse of CGI. Oh, and then there's also the villain who I don't really care about, who's very boring. I thought they would set up some sort of motivation in the beginning of the movie with him falling off of the train. That whole train thing is just barely acknowledged at all. I think all Indy really says is like, I know you, and that's pretty much it. And there's really like no rivalry to them. It's just all really boring villain as well. It's just like, it's just not good. And it's also kind of pointless. Like, what was the point of this movie? Like, I could have went without ever seeing this movie, and it would have not changed the Indiana Jones franchise at all. Just this movie was just pointless. I don't know. This is just not a good film, and I did not vibe with this film at all. I'm just not a fan of this movie, and it's just so many problems I have. And the ending too. It's just the fourth and fifth movie don't exist to me. I don't care what anyone says. The perfect ending is The Last Crusade. It literally has the word "last" in its title. I mean, it's not a perfect ending, but it's like it's a much better ending than the fourth and fifth movie. So in my mind, the trilogy exists. I don't care what the fourth or fifth movie says. I mean, if you guys like the fourth and fifth movie, then go ahead. It's just my opinion. Like, I just don't like these movies, and I just don't think it fits with the perfect trilogy, almost perfect trilogy. I mean, there are problems with the Indiana Jones movies, and I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever, but I think they're perfect the way they were. There's no need for a fourth movie that does nothing. I mean, the wedding ending is pretty nice, but the whole rest of the movie is just garbage. And then the fifth movie does nothing for anything. This movie is just pointless, and it's just not good in my opinion. So I'm not sure what the future of this franchise will be. I think the future should be it's over. The magic is so gone. It's dead and buried like the Terminator franchise. This franchise is just dead to me, in my opinion. I don't really know what else you could do. Maybe do a TV show with... Oh, no, we have the Young Indiana Jones TV show, so never mind. I don't know why I just forgot about that show. Bury the franchise. It's over. No more movies. Oh, I mean, this is Harrison Ford's last movie. I don't know if they're going to do another movie with his goddaughter, or... I really don't know, but I really don't want to see it. I don't want to see a reboot either. Please don't reboot Indiana Jones with like a Chris Pratt person, because I heard that like people want Chris Pratt to play Indiana Jones. No one should play Indiana Jones. Just make up a new franchise that's like Indiana Jones, or do something. Leave the franchise alone. You got 3 pretty good movies, pretty much a perfect trilogy for the most part, and just a really bad fourth movie and a not good fifth movie that both feel like they should not exist, in my opinion. I know the fourth movie has its fans, and I'm sure there's going to be a good amount of people that like the fifth movie, maybe even a lot of people. Maybe I'm in the minority that really just does not like this movie. I don't know, but in my opinion, I think we should just put these movies to rest, put this franchise to rest. And I really don't see anything else that they could do with this franchise.